Well, thank you very much, everybody. This is a great honor. We're on the 2-yard line, not the 5-yard line. 2 days ago, we were at the 5, now we're at the 2. But we have to turn out and vote tomorrow. We're going to vote. But we're right there, and then we're going to do something, a term you've never heard of, Make America Great Again. That's what we're going to do. So hello to Pennsylvania, a very special place. I went to school here, as you know. I spent a lot of time here, have a lot of friends here, and I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. Great people. Great people. You built this country, I have to tell you, you built this country. You're going to save this country, too. You're going to save it. Because, you know, if we win Pennsylvania, not me, if we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole ball of wax. It's over. It's over. So I'd like to begin by asking you a very, very easy, simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? With your vote tomorrow, I will end inflation, I will stop the invasion of criminals coming into our country, and I will bring back the American dream. You're going to have the American dream back. What a shame what they've done to our country. They have destroyed our country, but we're going to get it back and fast. We're a nation in decline, but that will not be long, believe me. And after 4 years of economic suffering, we will create the greatest economic boom the world has ever seen. They're all coming back. All those companies that left us with the jobs, they're all coming back. Think of this, though. We're just 1 day away. Oh, we've been waiting for this. I've been waiting 4 years for this. And so have you. And so have you. We've all been waiting 4 years. 1 day, you gotta show up. I don't want any money. I don't want anything. Just show up and bring your vote. And if you have somebody else that got a little lazy, bring that person too. Say, Jim, you gotta get off the damn couch. Come on. We gotta make America great again, Jim. We're just 1 day away from what will be the most important political event in the history of our country. But you have to get out. We have to vote. Just show up and vote. I'd love to, really, what we should do is swamp them. Just swamp them tomorrow. You know, we have a massive lead. I don't even like telling you that, to be honest with you. We have a massive lead. First time ever, a Republican was leading by a lot in early, but it didn't happen. The Republicans would always be way behind. They believe in going on election day, so we're going to let you go on election day, right? But they waited till the end, always. Democrats would always have hundreds of thousands of votes, and then you either catch them or you don't. You never know what's going to happen. But Republicans have never been in the lead, and not like this. It's a big number. So we have to just get at, you know, the ball is in our hand. We're at the 2-yard line, maybe the 1-yard line, but it's in our hand, and we put it over that. It'll be the biggest event maybe in the history of our country. And let me tell you, it will be also something much more important than that. It's going to save our country, because our country is in trouble. But that's all you need to know. And another thing you want to know is Kamala broke it, and I will fix it, and fast. America will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. This election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of gross incompetence and failure. That's what it was, 4 years of gross. Nothing good happened. What good happened? They cheated on their numbers. You saw last week they cheated on all their economic. We're in like a depression territory. I'll give you a little advance notice, 12,000 jobs. When did you hear that? That's like for Walmart. That's not for us. That's not for a country. It's 250, 300, 400, 100, 12,000. We lost hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs over the last month. Think of that. It's going to be that, or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. We're going to make these unbelievable years, and we're starting from a negative. You know, we're starting from like about 15 yards off the field. We're not starting at the 20. We're starting from 15 yards off the field. And speaking of football, maybe we can get the NFL to drop that ridiculous kickoff sit. What the hell are they doing? What is that? I watched the game the other day. I said, what the hell happened? They just kicked off and nobody moved. Oh, well, that's up to them. This will be the golden age of America. Tomorrow, it's a beautiful term, isn't it? I was saying before, I was just proofing and reading and studying and all that stuff, and what a beautiful term, the golden age. We're going to be in the golden age. Won't take long. So tomorrow you have to stand up and tell Kamala that you've had enough. You're not going to take it anymore. You're the most incompetent vice president we've ever had. And Joe Biden was the worst president in the history of our country. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. You're fired. This is a hell of a nice place. Thank you. With your vote, we're going to win Pennsylvania, and we're going to defeat Kamala and those radical left, what they're doing to our country. Crazy Nancy Pelosi, what's about her? She has Visa stock, a big position. You know, she started off with nothing, now she's worth $200 million. How did that happen? So she has Visa stock, and she sells her stock. The day before, it was announced that Visa's under major federal investigation. I don't know. I wonder, do you think she had any insider information? I don't know. It's disgrace. Honestly, she's a disgrace. They ought to throw her the hell out of Congress. We are going to make America great again, and it's going to be fast. We're going to do it fast. We'll fast track it. Over the past 4 years, Kamala has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted upon our people. She's violated her oath of office. She's eradicated our sovereign border and unleashed an army of gangs and criminal migrants from prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions, from all around the world, from Venezuela and the Congo in Africa, stealing countless American lives. And these are rough customers that are coming, much rougher than almost anybody in this room, other than the other night I had the Penn State national champion wrestling team. Think of this. They have a great coach. They've won exactly 11 out of the last 13 national championships. And I looked at these guys, I came up, I brought them up. And we were at Penn State when we did a little bit of a rally. It was a little rally that we could have sold the place out about 15 times. But we brought them up. I heard they were here, and I brought them up. And they had more muscle than I ever saw in any human being. And I looked at them and I said, you know, fellas, you may be the only ones in this room, in this country, that could take the migrants in a fight. You may be the only ones. Then I said, but they fight dirty. They use knives and guns, and they do, and they are vicious, and they're tough. And we're going to get them the hell out. We have to. Our country's being destroyed. Our country is being destroyed. Here today, there's an incredible woman who I got to know, actually, over this tragedy, Patty Morin, whose heartbreaking story is a tragic warning of what will come to every city in America. It's coming to every city. It's already there. I mean, they won't even talk about it, but it's coming. It's only going to get worse. And by the way, 21 million people she allowed in. open borders. We have no idea who they are, and many of them are bad. If she ever won, I hate to even mention the concept, she's incompetent. If she ever won, she would have open borders the following day after the election, and you wouldn't have 21 million people, which is a record in history. You would have 221 million people coming over the next 4 years. And you could forget about your country. You would have no chance. Patty's wonderful daughter, Rachel Morin, was a 37-year-old mom of 5 precious, beautiful children. Rachel lived in Maryland, 1,500 miles from the border. Last year, while Rachel was out on a run, she wanted to always stay in good shape. Right near her home, she was brutally raped and murdered by an illegal alien who was led into the United States by the ridiculous open borders policy of Kamala. The savage who committed this heinous crime first killed another woman in El Salvador before walking across Kamala's open border. Come in and please come in. We'd love to have you into the United States. Isn't that wonderful? He then attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother in a home invasion in Los Angeles, beating the hell out of both of them before murdering Rachel. Patty is really special. I got to know her. We had lunch together, and she's a very great woman. She's just like, look, there's nothing you can tell somebody when that happens. You can't say, oh, well, time. I don't know. Sometimes time's good. Sometimes it makes it worse. I've had them say it's worse now than it was 10 years ago. But Patty's a fantastic person. I'd love to call her up. She'll say a few words about her beautiful daughter. Please, Patty. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so be careful.
Thank you. Rachel, if you knew Rachel, everybody in our town knew Rachel. They loved her. She was a tiny little Spitfire. She was like 5 feet, 5'2". She loved her children. She was very dedicated to them. She was a small businesswoman. She worked very hard to support her children. She was physically active. She took very good care of herself. And after she passed away, we did a walk in our town. And we had over 2,000 people come out to the walk. And of the people that came out to the walk, they said to me, I didn't know her personally, but we bought coffee at the same place. And she always said hi, and she always had a smile. I had on the walk people that had immigrated into this country. And one of them that really touched my heart was a tiny little Cuban lady. She had left her country and had come here for safety reasons. She had just had 2 knee replacements, and her daughter knew my daughter, but her daughter had to work that day. So this lady with the 2 little knee replacements walked the trail for her daughter because her daughter was so impressed and so moved by Rachel. And this woman, at the end of the walk, wanted to take a picture with me and offered me $1, because that's what she had in her pocket, to help towards expenses for my daughter. I told her to take the money and take her daughter out to lunch and give her a hug. But family is the most important thing that we have. There's a proverb, and the proverb says, when a righteous man reigns, the people rejoice. But when wickedness reigns, the people mourn. And it's been 4 years of our country mourning because of the hardships that have been inflicted on us that are unnecessary, totally unnecessary. So thank you for allowing me this time.
Thank you very much.
And this is our next president of the United States. He's an awesome man.
Did you get your eyes fixed?
Not yet, we're working on it.
You got that on, huh?
Yeah, we are. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this honor.
It's an honor to be there. She's looking down, right? She's looking down. Look at the crowd, how they love you.
Yes. Yes.
The girl's looking down.
You're gonna make me cry. You're gonna make me cry. Thank you.
Come on, let me walk you out. Thank you very much. Thank you, Patty. Great woman, really an incredible. How do you do that? I don't know. She did something that's very hard to do. I couldn't do it, I don't think. Very hard to do what she just did, so beautifully, too. And last night we had a woman from Puerto Rico, Carmen, lost her daughter, Mimi. Same kind of thing. A migrant came in from a country, just brutal. They're just killers. I mean, they don't care. Her daughter was also beautiful. And Rachel was beautiful. But it was a similar thing, killed. And the woman got up, killed 5 days ago. And the woman got up and she just spoke. And both of them, the job is to do that. I don't know how you do it, but they are incredible. They're incredible people. We have incredible people in this country, I tell you. And we can't let savages come in from other countries and take them out. We can't let these animals come in for other countries. They come in and they take them out, and then they're protected by the radical left. It's a terrible thing that's happening, and it's levels. When I was in this debate with the three people, 2.5, I figured, the 2 anchors and a half a candidate. And David Muir, when I said about, no, crime's way up. No, it's not, it's down. I said, am I debating you? And the next day, somebody at Justice Department actually likes me. They released the numbers. It was up 45%. Crime was up, way up right now. And you have a new crime that you can add. It's called migrant crime. And it's as vicious as there's ever been. It's a level of viciousness. And I put up tapes, but you know, the problem is the fake news never puts the tapes on. A friend of mine calls me. And he says, I watch all your rallies. They're the greatest rallies. But you know, when you put those tapes up, the cameras, look at all those cameras over there. They don't have one camera that goes, and all it has to do is go an inch here, an inch here, and you have it. They don't put them on television because they don't want to see the horror show of those tapes. So I don't even bother with them anymore because it's ridiculous. Isn't it ridiculous? And you know, it would be actually better for the networks, better. I mean, you're showing things of great interest, and they're horrible to watch. They're horrible to watch. But I don't put them up anymore pretty much because they won't put them on. They won't move the camera an inch and an inch. Isn't that terrible? You know why? Because it's fake news. The day I take the oath of office, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. It's not going to be occupied long. If you had the tapes, you'd see where they take over apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado. I hope Colorado votes. You know, Colorado, the governor, is a weak, ineffective guy. He's a radical left lunatic, and he's petrified of the people. It's a gang from Venezuela, very nasty, along with MS-13. They're probably the 2 worst gangs. They're vicious. He doesn't know what to do. All talk, you know, they're all talk. And yet when I was the leading candidate and we're going through the country like easily, routinely, he decided that he's going to try and take me off the ballot. That doesn't sound very democratic, does it? You know, they always say, he's a threat, me. I'm a threat to democracy. I'm the one that's saving democracy, just so you know. And this weak, ineffective governor got his attorney general to push it, and they tried to take me off the ballot. It went through a whole court system, and the Supreme Court of the United States, and it was very important that they did this. They voted 9-0, including the 3 justices that sometimes would maybe not vote for something like this. I have respect for them. They voted 9-0. You can't do that. You just can't do that. You have to take them out with the ballots. So that was great. That's it. And the people of Colorado at the time, see, time flies and now people forget about it, but at the time they did polls and they were doing, Trump was going to win Colorado, not traditionally a swing state, but they were furious. And the Democrats were actually more angry than the Republicans. It's pretty amazing. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. And on day 1, I will launch the largest deportation program of criminals in American history. We're going to get them out. We have to. Dwight Eisenhower has the record. He was a very moderate kind of a guy. He was a good general. He's a good president, too, better than a lot of people think. He built the interstate system, did a good job, but he hated the concept of people pouring into our country. And he has the record, but we're going to unfortunately beat the record. It's not something I want to do. But this is not sustainable by any country. They're taking over your towns, your schools, your hospitals. Springfield, Ohio, 52,000 people in the town. They dropped 30,000 migrants into the town. And now they can't use their hospitals. They can't use their school systems. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered. Can you imagine? I'm up here making a speech, talking about towns and cities and big cities. Look, I see New York. I see what happened. And the mayor made some nasty statements about it. You know, the mayor, Mayor Adams, he made statements about this is not sustainable. We can't, I mean, you have to help us with this. Hundreds of thousands of people are piling into New York. You have to help us. And I said to my people, he'll be indicted shortly. They indicted him. One of the indictments is he was upgraded in an airliner. Everyone gets upgraded. Anybody who's gotten upgraded, please raise your hand. You will be indicted. No, think of this. I've been upgraded. I used to fly that way. They used to upgrade me all the time. That would mean I have a potential additional investigation because I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. Think about it. He killed people at will. If he went out to dinner with this handsome gentleman right here and he didn't like him, he said, "You're looking at me the wrong way. I don't like you." He had no chance of making it out of the dining room. And I got investigated. Think of it. I got investigated more, and I did nothing wrong. And I have to say the Republican Party really stuck up for me. They said, this is ridiculous. Unanimously. And they'll put the vicious and bloodthirsty criminals, we're going to get them, we're going to throw them out of the country first choice. If they're really crazy vicious, and we have many of them, don't forget, of the 1,399 that are murderers, many of them committed 2 murders. Of these people, I don't know, I'd almost rather keep them in jail because, you know, if they come back, now we're going to have something about them coming back. It's serious, and we'll tell you about it. But we're going to either put them in jail or we're going to get them. And for the most part, we want to just get them the hell out of our country, right? No, they're emptying their jails and mental institutions to expedite removals of the removal of Trende Aragua and other violent gangs like MS-13, all savage gangs, tough gangs. They're tough, they're nasty. And that's why I want to be with those Penn State guys. I feel very good. I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. You know, 1798, that's when they ran the country a little tougher than we run it today. Today, you get a little slap in the wrist when you kill somebody. You kill somebody. Oh. Now, if you fight for a fair and free election, then they throw the book at you, right? Then they throw the book because they don't like it because you're getting too close. And you know, those numbers that are coming in today, nobody's ever seen numbers like this. It's a great tribute. It's a great tribute. So we're going to invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer. You kill our citizens or you kill our law enforcement officers, you know, we have to protect them. They're in a dangerous situation. And we have very few. It's very hard to get them now. It's because we don't protect them. We don't stick up for them. We don't fight. I mean, we end up taking away their pensions. We end up taking away their house. They end up losing their families. We're going to fight for our law enforcement officers. Being a policeman used to be one of the most sought-after jobs in the country. Today, it's not. I visited a wonderful young family in Long Island. The door opens to a car and bullets start firing out. He's not allowed to do anything. He can't, you know, just horrible. It's very dangerous. And we're going to have it so they're going to want to be cops again. We want to be policemen. My father always said, don't ever use the word cops. That's not respectful. It's a little different than it is nowadays. Can you imagine? Because my father had respect. Our family had always great respect for policemen. I'll never forget, I said to my father, Dad, the cops around here do a good job. Don't ever use the word cops. They're policemen. At that time, it was mostly policemen. Now it's policemen and policewomen. It's good. But that's a different, there's a whole different thing. We're going to bring it back to exactly like my father felt about him. He had total respect for them, and they did a great job. And you couldn't even get on the force. The standards were so high. Everybody wanted to be a policeman, or then, as it kicked in, a policewoman. And they're doing a great job. And I will immediately ban all sanctuary cities in the United States of America. We will secure our borders, and we will also rescue our economy, because our economy is in a mess. And I've seen it for a long time. I'm very good at that stuff. I'm very good at that stuff. I've been talking about it for a long time. Scott Bessent, one of the smartest people on Wall Street, has been talking about it. In fact, he said the only reason the stock market's up is because everyone thinks Trump is going to become president this very year. Maybe the top guy on Wall Street. 4 years of Kamala have delivered nothing but economic hell for American workers. You know that. Her inflation disaster has made life unaffordable and cost families over $30,000 in higher prices. It's the cost. People tell me all the time, I actually talk to a lot of people. It's hard to believe. If I'm in a group, I say, come here, what do you like the best? Well, my groceries are. They're always talking about groceries and the cost of cars, the cost of everything. The cost of anything, it's all inflation that they created. They created it so stupidly with screwing around with my energy policies. I had oil at $1, I thought it was 87. I was corrected by the government. It was $1.84 a gallon. Think of this. And today you're at $4 and $5 and actually going up. It's going to go up a lot. By the way, the day after the election, if something bad happens, you'll see oil at 10, 12, 15, because these crazy people are trying to force electric cars down your throat. And we like electric cars, but they're not for everybody. And by the way, Elon Musk is incredible, what he's done. What he's done. Do you know where he is right now? He's in Pennsylvania fighting for the election. He's campaigning, Elon. That 22-story rocket ship last week, did you see that? It's coming down. I say, oh, no, it's going to crash. Look at the gantry. It's coming too sharp. Stop it, stop it. I didn't know it was him. I figured it was him because he's so far advanced. You know? Who else could do this kind of stuff? Anyway, this thing's coming down, it's wrong angle, and then all of a sudden, you know, it really looked like it had the whole deal was going to collapse, the gantry, that's the thing that holds it up. So it's coming down, then all of a sudden, wow, you know, massive flames of fire and jets and everything comes pouring in from the left and pushes it over, and then it drops gently down, and then those two big arms come out like you're hugging your baby. Just grab that thing and put it gently down. Put it gently down in the pad, and it was a beautiful thing to see. See, now in the old days I would have said hugging something else, and I would have thought that was so smart to say. And then the fake news would be writing stories about it for 2 weeks. So we don't give them those opportunities quite as much, but it was more fun, but we don't give them those opportunities. Just days ago, we had but you know, Elon, really, we have to be thankful. He gave for the horrible hurricane that did such a big number on numerous states, but North Carolina got hit badly. I mean, they were really hit, and I was there. I was very early there, actually, and then came back, and I met with a very good person, one of the head people in North Carolina. He said, "Sir, you know Elon Musk, don't you?" "Yeah." He gave me the nicest endorsement. He said, "If you don't win, if Trump doesn't win, this whole country is going to be no good. It's going to be no good." And it won't, because their policies, these radical left policies, will be Venezuela on steroids. That's what's going to happen to us. And I said that years ago, if that ever happened. And we can't let we got to get these people the hell out of office because they're bad. First of all, they're incompetent, but they're bad. But he said, "Sir, could you do us a favor?" What? He makes something called Starlink. I said, "What's Starlink? Tell me what Starlink." It's a communication system, because all our wires are buried underwater. You had to see this. Areas that never saw water are now lakes. I mean, nobody's ever seen a hurricane. This was a real sort of a water-destructive hurricane. There's never been anything like it in terms of the amount of water put in. It literally areas that were almost like they never saw much rainfall or anything. They're now these giant lakes. And the destruction and the death. A lot of people died, and you know, people don't know that, but a lot of people died. There are people still missing. He said, "We have no communication. We're cut off from the mainland, and we need Starlink, and we can't get anyone on the phone because, you know, it's a very popular thing." So he explained what it is, and I called Elon. I said, "Elon, you have to do me a favor. North Carolina and parts of Georgia are really in bad shape, and they have no communication. You have to get your Starlink, whatever the hell it is, Elon. I don't know. I don't care, but you got to get some. And if you don't mind," and so I'm talking to him, and you might have heard this. I told it a couple times. I'm talking to him, and I get a note that the man from North Carolina was, "Thank you very much, sir. The Starlink is all being taken care of. It just happened." I said, "Wait a minute." So I said, "Elon, did you approve that?" "Yeah." "How the hell did you approve it? You're talking to me on the phone." He said, "Well, I'm able to do two things at one time." And they got so much Starlink, and I said, "How is it?" He said, a week later, I said to the guy, "How is it?" He said, "It's unbelievable. You saved a lot of lives." So Elon is a great guy, so we want to thank him. Just days ago, we had the worst jobs report in modern history. This is the one. I always said, I don't want to be Herbert Hoover. I don't want to be Herbert Hoover. And I've been talking to you about this is going to happen. And I think we can now say it's in the process of happening. So normally you see all these jobs, everything, hundreds of thousands of jobs, just because of the size. And they just announced, Mike, you'd be amazed at this. Mike, look at our Mike. Look at him. He lost all that weight. He looks so handsome. Stand up. Mike Pompeo. Stand up, Mike. You look so handsome. Wow. Man, I'm going to ask him, how the hell did he do that? That's good. Good. That's great. But I just said, 12,000, and this is an unbelievably, like an unthinkable number. I've never heard of a number that low. I've never heard of it. It's been decades. And I heard that, and then I heard 30,000 private sector jobs were killed in a single month, and nearly 100,000 manufacturing jobs have been wiped out just since the beginning of the year. 100, and those manufacturing jobs are gold for us. I mean, those are the people that make the product. 150,000 Americans joined the unemployment rolls in October, and nearly 250,000 people dropped out of the labor force. Did you ever hear numbers like that? That's like a depression. And I've been saying the D word. I don't like to say it, but I've been saying the D word, the depression. Then they did something even worse than that. A few months ago, they fraudulently claimed that they had 818,000 jobs created, that they created 818,000. That was good, but that just brought us up to normalcy, so it wasn't a big story. Because now all of a sudden, instead of being down 818, they were like normal. And when in fact, none were created. It was a fraud. And the papers refused to write about it as a fraud because they're fake. And it was a total lie. They thought they'd be able to get away with it through the election. They didn't want to have this information come out before the election. See, and I look up to this guy. Thank you very much. Because this would, in normal times, right? This would, in normal times, be a disqualifier. Do you know she's using my term now? Do you believe it? She uses everything I do. She uses, even Saturday Night Live, they copied. They copied. Think of that. Oh, she was great. They copied my routine. I did it a long time ago. They copied the same routine. I think I did it better, actually. I think anybody could have done it. I think anybody could have done it better, Dan, right? But fortunately, there was a whistleblower on the 818, and I thought it was an amazing thing, so it got released. And now, to add to it further, they've just revised other past reports, jobs reports, down by 112,000 other fake jobs were reported. For almost 1 million fraudulent jobs were created. And it all got released right now in front of the election. One day, I mean, it was 3 days that we heard about it, but we're talking about it now. And normally this would be a disqualifier. This would be, you wouldn't be able to even run for office. Meanwhile, 100% of the net jobs created in the last year have gone to migrants. They haven't gone to American citizens. Did you know that? These are depression-type numbers, and that's where we're heading if she's elected. You have a depression, I don't mean like a recession. I mean a depression with a capital D. Under my leadership, we are quickly going to turn this economic nightmare into an economic miracle. We're going to do great things. You are. We're going to make America wealthy again, and we're going to make America affordable again. We have to get the prices down. I told the story this morning. A woman goes up to a counter in a supermarket with 3 apples. It was reported somewhere, and it's just like, this can't happen in this country, and brings them up, 3 apples. An elderly woman brings them up to the counter, and she realized that they're too expensive, and they've gone up so much from the last couple of months. And she takes one of the apples back to the refrigeration section and walks back, and she buys 2 apples instead of 3. This shouldn't be happening in the United States of America. So we're just one day away from the best jobs and biggest paychecks and the brightest economic future that the world has ever seen. But you must vote. Kamala's plan will impose the largest tax hike in American history and raise taxes on the typical American family by at least $3,000 a year. And this is the only politician I've ever seen. You know, she's a very low IQ person. You know. I want to have a smart president. I don't want any more. We had 4 years of these guys. President Xi, Mike, of China is not a low IQ person. Do you agree? He's a very severe person. He's a very fierce person, but low IQ is not one of his traits. Do we agree? No, but these guys, these leaders at the top of their game, and we don't have that. We have people that 30 years ago, Biden wasn't any good. He had the worst policy. If you would have taken Biden's policy reviews over a 40-year period and reversed them, you would have gone down as the single greatest policy expert, foreign policy expert. My plan will massively cut taxes for workers and small businesses, and we will have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. Kamala will crush Pennsylvania energy workers, and she's going to ban fracking. By the way, don't let this happen. Her whole life, she's against anything coming out of the ground. She likes the wind, the wind. It kills all your birds. That doesn't work. That's the most expensive energy in the entire world. And then after 10 years, when it rusts out, they don't look too good. So she wants to ban fracking, and she's going to ban, that's 500,000 Pennsylvania jobs. There's no way that you can vote for that. That's your biggest industry. You got a lot of stuff under there. It's going to come out, and it's clean and nice and good. And you're doing great things for the country because the country uses it. I will end Kamala's war on energy, and we will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill. And I will cut your energy prices, all of your energy, gasoline, for the house, air conditioning, heating, everything. In 1 year from January 20th, which would be the day we take over. Oh, it's so close, but still dangerous. These people, how would you like to be Putin and you want to call the United States and you have no idea who to call? No, it's true. Let's see, let's call up the United States. I'd like to work something out. Who do we call? Sir, really, there's nobody you can speak to. I just thought of that the last couple of days. They want to make a deal, Mike, and they have nobody to speak to. Maybe they'll speak to the guy right alongside of you. You got a great Senate. By the way, you have a great Senate candidate. I hope you're gonna go for it, David. He's great. I hope you're gonna go. He's working hard. It's hard beating those guys that are in there for 25 years and do nothing. See, when you do nothing, you're a survivor. You can never get yourself into problems. He does nothing for you. He doesn't fight for your fracking. He wouldn't care. He wouldn't even say to her, no, we can't do that. That's going to have a terrible impact on Pennsylvania and the country. He would never say that. He's a survivor. His father was in for 25 years. He's in for whatever the hell he's in for, 25-something. And they are tough to beat, I have to tell you, because he's just a survivor. That's the only thing he's good at. You need more than a survivor. You need this guy. This man is good, David McCormick. And he's working hard. Get him up here. Come on, David. Come on. We got to get him. David McCormick. And I'll tell you, I've known him for a long time. He was a winner in school. He was a great soldier. Everything was good. Everything was good. You have a chance to get somebody outstanding. And what you have now is not outstanding.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, Keystone State. It's going to happen right here. It all comes down to here. We have a choice. We have a choice between strength, that guy who said fight, 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 and weakness. We have a choice between common sense policies and a radical liberal agenda. You have a choice between a senator who's going to fight with this guy for change or the status quo. We've got to win this election. It's the most important ones of your lifetime. President Trump's putting it all out there. I'm putting it all out there. We need you to do everything you can do to take our country back. We need you to get out and vote. We need you to tell 10 friends. We need you to put up signs. We need you to pray. And if you do that, on November 6th, we'll say on this day, November 5th, we saved our country. We got it back on track. We put the right leadership in place. And we made Pennsylvania great again. Thank you.
Wow. We have some other senators here, and I have to tell you, I think they're looking forward to having him as a partner in the Senate. We have some good ones, too. Senator Bill Hagerty, Tennessee. Tom Cotton, a great guy. Tom Cotton. Tom is a great guy. Arkansas. And Marco is Marco. He's fantastic. Thank you, fellas. Thank you, fellas. That's a great group of people. I heard Marco, that little speech he gave, that was pretty, I didn't understand a damn word he was saying. But he's great. You have a lot of members of Congress, but just a few of them that I have to because they're outstanding. They're outstanding people. John Joyce, Lloyd Smucker, Dan Muser, G.T. Thompson. These guys are all warriors. Stand up, fella. They're warriors. They are warriors. And Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she's doing a fantastic job. She's fantastic. Pennsylvania Treasurer Stacey Garrity. Where's Stacey? Thank you, Stacey. Oh, thank you, Stacey. Good job. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, great guy. Great guy. RNC Chairman Michael Watley, he's doing good. He's doing good. I told him, do me a favor. You've heard this speech before. Stay back. Just work on the votes. We've heard this speech before. You have a man from Europe. I don't know if he's here. I saw him backstage. What he did was, and what he is doing is sort of what we did a few years ago. He's doing a great job. He's always been my friend for some reason. He liked me. I liked him. And he's shaking it up pretty good over there. He was the big winner of the last election in the UK, and he's a very spectacular man, very highly respected, Nigel Farage. He's a little bit of a rebel, but that's good. You know, that's good. Don't change, Nigel. And you have my children, and they are spectacular. Don, Eric, Tiffany, and Laura, and Michael Boulos. And Tiffany's going to have a baby very soon. Going to have a baby. Tiffany's having a baby. Thank you very much. That's really great. They're very good. They're very good kids. And a lot of friends are here. Steve Witkoff is here. He's given a lot of money to different charities and all. He's really, really something. Oh, they're there. I'm wondering why are all those cameras? That's the innocent right there. And you know, Laura is a superstar. Laura is like unbelievable. Laura has been unbelievable. Laura, you know, she was born and really loves the place, North Carolina, and she can't hold it against her, right? She was born, she loves North Carolina, and so do I, so do we all. We've never had a loss at North Carolina. And she could have been senator very easily, and I said, do you think it's something you'd want to do? Nobody could have beaten her. She was through the roof, and she said, no, I love my husband, I love my children, I really want to give them some time. We end up making her like chairman of the Republican Party. That's supposed to be easier, along with Michael Watley. But she loves North Carolina, and she could have. And Ted Budd, who's doing a great job. I said, Ted, would you like to run? She said, I'll only run if Laura doesn't run, because nobody can beat her, which is really true. And she said, I think Ted would be great. He ran, he won, and he's a fantastic senator. But I just want to thank this group is a very special group. And Ivanka and Barron. Ivanka called me this morning and she said, have a great time today, because this is, you know, we're going to be doing 4 of these today. 4. They're big ones, they're big, but we felt we could do the abbreviated version. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I have to get around. Do you mind if we speak for 5 minutes? And everyone said, I guess. But we do the whole deal. You've been with me from the beginning, and I'm with you from the beginning, so. And we have Barron, and Barron he got into a great college, and he's doing really well. Barron is watching us as we speak. He loves this stuff. Barron's watching with our with our First Lady, our beautiful First Lady. Oh, she's got the #1 selling book in the country. Melania, it's called. Go buy it. Buy it for Christmas. It's beautiful. I read it every page very closely before I recommended it. I didn't know. You got to be careful. Now, she wrote a great book, a #1 bestseller on the New York Times list. You know, for Trump to get on the #1 bestseller on the New York Times list, most people would consider it like virtually impossible. And she did, so that means she sold a hell of a lot of books. And so go get Melania. But Barron and Ivanka, say hello. And I want to thank you very especially. This is our last time now for forever. Well, we started this. Think how sad. We started this, right? And we started it really as a family unit 9 years ago. We've had the biggest rallies, the most spectacular rallies in the history of politics. It's the biggest and most powerful movement in the history of our country by far. And I say that in front of the fake news all the time. There's nobody can correct it. And I tell the story of Pat Buchanan. I like Pat Buchanan. Now he's a pretty old guy. I hope he's around. I think he is, but he's a pretty old guy. But he became very famous and very successful, and he was on all the shows for years, for 40 years, because he came in second in the New Hampshire primary. And he took that. We won 50 states, and then we won the presidency. And we did even better the second time than we did the first time, as you know. We had more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country. Yeah, things happen. And I said, you know what? We did so well. Let me see how they're doing. And they were doing horribly, because I didn't need to do this. And they were doing horribly. And I said to the family, I said to Melania, Barron, and I said to Ivanka, I said to everybody, I said, I think we got to do it again. We had, think of it, if I would have done badly in 2020, I wouldn't do it. It would have been easier. But we all know how well we did. And I said, we got to do it again, only because I looked at the incompetence, Afghanistan, all these things that were happening. You take a look at it, you take a look at how bad, nothing good was happening. We were disrespected all over the world. Other countries laugh at us right now, and now they're laughing harder than they've ever laughed before. And we're not going to let anybody laugh at us. It's not going to happen. So I said, let's do it. Let's give it a shot. And now the people, and it was, quite contentious, because you had some people, but now those people are real friends of ours again. And we have a party that's very well united. And most importantly, we're going to show up and vote tomorrow. And if you do, you're going to win. The ball's in our court. As they say in athletics, the ball is in our court. All we have to do is get out and vote, and we walk away with the greatest political event in history. But much more important, it's going to be the event that saves our country. Okay? So, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. They're really good kids. They're really good. That's not to say that I didn't have little difficulty with them on occasion, especially Don, but no, I'm only kidding. No, good speeches, good job. Thank you, kids. I'll see you later. Good. Thank you very much. And your father, thank you. Thank you. I didn't know what was happening. I saw all these cameras turned. I say, why are those cameras being turned away from me? What's going on? But in a way, they've become stars. They're just great. They're great people. And they do it because they love the country. They love it. Thank you very much, all. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So here are the facts. And Kamala, now we have to talk. Oh, bring them up. Okay, come on, let's go. They all want me to bring them up. There's a lot of love. Come here, my boy. Come here, my beautiful boy.
We are 24 hours away from sending the greatest president this country's ever seen back to the White House. And I just want to say how much love we truly feel from everyone in Pennsylvania, but truly across the country. You guys are our family. We love you. God bless you. We are here fighting by your side, not just now, but forever, because we are so blessed to live in the greatest country on earth, the United States of America. We love you guys. Thank you.
This man right here is the greatest warrior America has ever seen. And our family is so damn proud of him. We will fight on this stage for as long as we're here. We're always going to fight for the greatest country in the world, which is the United States of America. Let's go win this, Pennsylvania.
Guys, for us, this has been an honor of a lifetime. You guys are the best, but now it's up to you. We can't do it by ourselves. It was always about all of us. It was about one country. It was about taking back our freedom, our rights from those who are trying to take away from us. So tomorrow, bring your friends, stay in line. Let's vote, vote, vote. Let's take back our country. Thank you, Pennsylvania, and thank you, America. God bless all of you.
Hello. Well, we love you, we support you, and my father's here fighting for you, and he's never going to let you down. So please vote. Let's get this country back on track. Thank you so much.
I shouldn't have done that. I got to follow that now. I'm not going to follow that. So kids, go back to work. Let's make sure everybody shows up tomorrow to vote, okay? Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful job. They're great. They're great. They're good people, and they love our country, but they really are good people. They're kind people. They have big hearts. They're strong. They can be nasty, but they have big hearts, those great children of mine. So here are some of the facts. Kamala is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than crooked Bernie Sanders and crazy Bernie Sanders. I don't know, do I call him crooked? I'd say probably crazy, maybe for him is a better term. And Pocahontas herself. Kamala destroyed our economy. She was an original creator of defund the police movement, and therefore anybody who wants to defund the police even for one day, and she was there for a long time, is not worthy of being president of the United States. We need our police. We want to get our police back. We want to indemnify our police when they're unfairly charged. Kamala vowed to abolish ICE. She pledged to confiscate your guns. Would anybody like to give up their gun? No takers? I didn't think so. And endorsed a total ban of handgun ownership. You know that. She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention. All at taxpayer expense. And perhaps, worst of all, she lied. She never worked at McDonald's, okay? Never worked. No, she never worked there. I was there for 15 minutes. That's 15 minutes more than she worked there. And I have to say, those French fries are really good when you get them right out of that fat or whatever the hell they cook them with, fat. I don't know if it's good for you, but they are really good. In conclusion, with your vote tomorrow, we are going to fire Kamala and we are going to save America. We will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America and back to Pennsylvania. We love Pennsylvania, something about it. Think of the history you have here. Think of the history you have, the political history. Is there any place like it? And this is a big one because think of this. Put this, add this with all of the other things that are, you know, for so many years famous by Pennsylvania and what you've done and how you fit into history. We win Pennsylvania, as I said. We win Pennsylvania. We win the whole bag of wax. We can have another one. We'll put that one on top. Let's try putting that one on top. They're pretty big. We have to. But this will be one of the. This will be one of the truly big events in the history of our country. So why don't we have Pennsylvania be there for that? That'd be beautiful. On top of all the things we did. Because remember, we gave you the largest tax cuts in history, the largest regulation cuts in history, rebuilt our military, defeated ISIS, had no new wars, gave you right to try, the great, incredible thing that's saving thousands of lives, right to try. You don't have to go to Europe or Asia or just go home and die. If you have no money, you go home and die. You have the right to try new age medicines without having any problems, saving thousands and thousands. We gave you so much, and it's an honor. It's an honor, really. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire American. I will end the war in Ukraine, which would have never started if I was president. And I will stop the chaos in the Middle East. There's another thing, Israel, October 7th. October 7th would have never happened. All of those people that were hostages, hopefully are still, because I hope they're of hostage. I just hope they haven't been killed, but I think a lot of them are killed. I think a lot of them have been killed, but we can hope. But that would have never happened. That would have never, ever happened because Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for Hezbollah. We would have had peace in the Middle East. You would have had peace. Instead, you have all of the death that's taking place. It's terrible. And I will prevent World War III because you're just around the corner from World War III, and this will be a war like no other. This will be a nuclear war. And this will not be two army tanks going back and forth and shooting at each other. This will be a war. The level of power of these weapons is, you know, I rebuilt our nuclear force. I rebuilt our whole military during the 40 years. We did a phenomenal job in that, but in many ways I hated to do it. In many ways, I hated to do it with respect to the nuclear. Because they're going over the power levels of various things that we're rebuilding. And I say, General, are you sure about that? The power is just crazy. It's obliteration. And we have people that don't have a clue and they're negotiating. Look, Ukraine should have never started none of these things. How about when you look at Afghanistan, that would have never happened. We were going to get out of there with strength and dignity, and we were going to be, was going to be a victory. It was enough. They were in there for 21 years or something. But the one thing I would have done is I would have kept Bagram, the big air base, one of the biggest bases in the world. We built it many years ago for billions of dollars. The most powerful, longest runways. They can handle anything in the world. 1 hour away from China. Remember, that wasn't really for Afghanistan. That was, you're 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. And you know who has it now? China. These are stupid people. They took the military out first. They took the military. They said, oh, we had a plan. We had a plan. Mike Pompeo made the plan with me. We had a plan subject to all these different things that they had to do. They weren't doing them. They were doing some, but they said, great, we're not going forward until they do the other. We were going to be fine. But the one thing that wouldn't have happened, we would have never taken the military. You take the military out last, and we lost 13 lives and many people obliterated, and hundreds of people were killed on both sides. We will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect they so dearly deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. We will build a massive defense shield all around our country so a missile heads in our direction and we knock the hell out of it. We can have it. And Ronald Reagan wanted to do that many years ago, and he was right, except we didn't have the technology then. It would have been not good, but we didn't have today. You can shoot a pin out of the sky. It's incredible, actually, what they've been able to do. But it's all going to be made in the USA, and a lot of it is going to be made in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C. We'll get rid of all the graffiti on those beautiful marble columns, and we'll clean it. And it'll be properly run, and we'll stop the death and shootings and muggings and everything. We'll make it a great capital, beautiful capital again. And we'll also make sure that our Supreme Court stays to 9 justices. We will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. And we will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our school. And we will, of course, keep men out of women's sports. Every time I say those last two things, and I may add the open borders. Can you imagine they're trying to defend open borders? Open borders, who would do that? We're the party of common sense, okay? We're really the party of common sense. But when I say open borders, we're going to close the borders, you say, can you imagine you actually have to say that? What the hell? I mean, who the hell wants open borders where criminals from all over the world can just walk into our country? These are crazy people, or they hate our country, or they think they're going to get these people to sign up and vote. I guess maybe that's it. But it's not defensible. But think of the last two. The transgender insanity. It's taken over. And nobody's ever come up to me and said, I'd like to talk to you about that. I've never had it. They've talked about taxes. They've talked about economic development. They talk about the last one, men playing in women's sports. Nobody's ever come up. With all the people, I deal with hundreds of people. I deal with people. I go into crowds. I ask them because I get better opinions from you than these crazy consultants I have for a fortune. But I've never once been said, sir, we have to do something about keeping men in women's sports. I've never had the question. I don't know. It's such a big subject. Nobody's ever asked me the question before. Can you imagine? Go back 10 years and say that a president from 10 years from now is going to be up there defending the fact that men should not play in women's sports. People would say, you're crazy. That'll never happen. Did you see the two boxes? Did you see the two boxes? They were men. They transitioned into womanhood. And they fought a very good Italian. They have women's boxing in the Olympics. And they fought a very good Italian young lady. And boom, she got hit with just a left jab. She went back to her corner, said, I've never been hit like that. This was just like a defensive. Oh, they could fight Iron Mike, I'll tell you. Iron Mike would say, this is not a good thing. I know Iron Mike, and he's a great guy, Mike Tyson. He's a great guy. He's a good man. Hey, Mike's been through a lot, but he could fight. Let me tell you, that guy could fight. But can you imagine Mike? Oh, he says, put Mike in the ring with Kamala. That would be interesting. No, but can you imagine? And these two men that transitioned, you'll be shocked to know they both won gold medals. In some of the easiest fights, they're announcing a certain woman. She's a champion here, a champion there. She's great. She gets hit. Blah. That's the end of the champion stuff. It's so unfair. It's so ridiculous. And it's very demeaning to women. I think it's horrible. I will defend religious liberty. I will restore free speech. And I will defend the right to keep and bear arms, our Second Amendment. And I did. They didn't touch it. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are finally going to build up our country. We're going to defend our borders, and we're going to protect our lands and citizens. And we will stop illegal immigration once and for all. We want people to come into our country, but they're going to come in legally. That's all. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be overrun. We are an occupied country. Can you believe the things I'm saying up here? We are an occupied country. Take a look at Colorado. Take a look. Take a look what's happening there. Military-style weapons. Aurora. They're taking over apartment complexes. They're in the real estate business just like me. But I have to go out and borrow money or somehow pay cash. They just walk in and they say, you're paying the rent to me from now on, madam, and if you don't pay, it's big trouble for you. And the governor has no idea what the hell's happened, that poor guy. He's a radical Democrat. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation once again. Can you imagine? I have to say this. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope and filled with the American dream. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is just too big to rig. We got to do it. So you need to get out tomorrow and vote. That's it. This is it. We're going to get together again, but it's going to be different. It's not going to be a rally. It's going to be applause for what we're doing. It's going to be better. Because these incredible rallies, and there may have been like 900 of them, a tremendous amount. This is over 9 years. Many, I know we celebrated 507. I remember 507, it was a few years ago. I think it's got to be close. I don't know, whatever it was. But it's hundreds and hundreds. And they've been flawless, right? Every once in a while I'd make a little aggressive statement that people didn't like, but you know. Don't forget, I'm rarely on the teleprompter. Isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't have to be on the teleprompter, right? Right, Dan? That guy, look at that guy. Stand up. That guy, he's such a good guy. You better bring him home because he has worked so hard in the election, Dan Muser. He's worked so hard. And you know what? Think of it. Think of it. If we lost, I'd call him up tomorrow and go, I won't say it. Franklin Graham said, please don't use foul language. I said, all right, Franklin. He said, you can tell the story just as well without the foul language. Actually, he's not right about that. It's not quite the same. When you don't every once in a while, not a real bad word, but you know, like a word. But he did say that, so I do my best. But I'd call him up with anger and fierceness. I'd say, you failed me. As opposed to calling up and say, Dan, you did a great job. I love you, Dan. Right? I think we're going to do the Dan, you did a great job. And you did, regardless. You did. Regardless. And all of these guys, they're all in. They're great guys. They're warriors. For the past 9 years, we've been fighting against the most sinister and corrupt forces on earth. That's right. With your vote in this election, you can show them once and for all that this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. You. This nation belongs to you. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country. And tomorrow, 4 years we've all waited for this. 4 years of rallies, good ones and bad ones, but we didn't have any bad ones, I don't think. We had no bad ones. But 4 years, think of it, 4 years, and now it's tomorrow. Tomorrow, it's hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. All of this was to really, all of these hundreds and hundreds of rallies were to put us in position to do something great for our country. This is, in a way, the harder part. Honestly, beating all these people and fighting all of these people, going through the lies and the vicious statements about you and your family and everything. But all of that was worth it. It puts us in position to now be able to do the job. And we're going to do a great job for everybody, for 100% of the people. We're going to do it for Democrats. for liberals or progressives if they prefer, which they do prefer. But we're going to do it for independents, and we're going to do it for everybody. We're going to do it for everybody. And you're going to be so proud of your vote. I really want you to look back and your family to look back. My dad, my mom voted for Trump. It was the best thing that they ever did. That's what we want. Otherwise, we've made a mistake. And we felt the love. We would have never done this if we didn't do so well the second time. We did better the second time than we did the first time, if you think. After all we've been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. We really, something. With your help, we will restore America's promise, and we will take back the nation that we all love so much. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in, we will never give up, we will never back down, and we will never, ever surrender. Together we will fight, 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 and win, win, win. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. We're going to turn it around. We're going to turn it around very fast. You're going to be very proud. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Pennsylvania. We'll be back. God bless you all. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much.